We are rolling. Looks like we're rolling. Hello, everyone. It's She the Writer here again, streaming live. It's been a long, rough day on top of a long, rough couple of weeks, but still here, still my ecosystem journal. Filled this a couple of years ago while I was still in film school. I was also doing painting training sometime around the same time. And I know why journal flip throughs are popular, and I totally get why, because I love watching journal flip through videos. This journal is called Cream Colored Blue. It is part of the Ecosystem brand, and they are no longer making journals. And I gotta say, that's terribly depressing because this is one of the best journals I've ever used. This stirrup, what is this called? This thing is made of cotton and it feels like it, and it's really nice, very solid. The cover has an interesting material. You can find lots of videos on YouTube already talking about the Ecosystem Journal cover. It's really fantastic. I love the logo too. It gets better anyhow. Let's get started. So I started this with some writing exercises in the beginning. Maybe I should start with the back. Yeah. So here we got some um, extra paint from my painting workshop. And then we have got, I don't know how much of this is personal. A lot of it's fictional, mostly fictional since I'm a fiction writer. But these pages are perforated. So they do have perforations. I normally don't like that in an art journal, but what's great about these is that somehow they are perforated, but they stay really solid, really stable, even if you put a lot of media on it, even if you put watercolor on it. Another reason that I'm sad that these are no longer in production. These were also recycled. They were made in the US. They were about as expensive as moleskins and frankly better quality than the new generation of moleskins. So it's really just a shame that they got rid of them overall. If I sound congested, it's because, I don't know, I was weeping all day. I've had a really hard time. Can't even say why, because part of my circumstances and their difficulty precludes me from saying why they are so difficult, which sounds confusing and ambiguous, but, maybe someday I'll have the luxury of sharing what I'm going through, but as Lisa Nichols says, I try not to share a battle that I'm still in the middle of. Anyhow, okay. So there's some more paint, and there's Alan's name. I was practicing my calligraphy, and there we go. There's some tape. I got one hand going here. I had silhouettes for some of my work, photographic silhouettes, and then I put photographs on top and get rid of those, cut those out. And then there's some painting with homemade stamps, I think it was called. And then this is right around the time that I started using Twitter. I'd never really used Twitter before that. I have some quotes from my favorite shows and movies. Obviously want to watch lots of shows and movies if you plan to make shows and movies. Oh, this is great. One of my favorite lines I ever wrote. Okay. This is a short story I wrote that was mostly semantic experience. I hope I sound okay. There's some more collaging and art. I was researching toxic shock syndrome for a story. Michelle! You're here! Sorry, I shouldn't call you by name if you don't want it. We have a person here who I like. That's cool. Another thing I love about live video. This I actually wrote to a sculpture that I was making in the studio because I couldn't quite figure it out. After I wrote this letter, I flipped it over and it worked, at least in my eyes. My teacher didn't like it, but you know, wasn't my best class. That's alright. I learned what I wasn't good at, so that's important too. Got some colored pencils there. And just doing some more notes. A lot of these were notes for studio, so when I was in the studio, I would take notes. And like I said, you can tell just by watching me flip these pages thus far that there's quite a bit of media on them. There's quite a bit of stuff on them, but they just didn't tear at the seams. They just kind of stayed together. Really impressed with that. I wish desperately that they still made these Made in the US. Such good quality. Outlining the parts of final draft of my novel. Often print pictures from some of my favorite artists and glue those in. And there we go, the snake. So, yeah, this was all mostly my first year of art school that I was doing this. It was still my first year, and in your first year, you're using a lot of media. Like, even if you know what your major is, with most four-year BFA programs, see, it's not even torn there. Most BFA programs will have you doing lots of different media the first year to make sure you know what you want to major in and to give you some basic visual literacy. So, how to do design, how to use Photoshop, how do you email a file, build a portfolio. Those are kind of the skills that you learn in that first year, no matter what major you get. I can do another flip through of this if this is not great quality. I don't know how this sounds because I'm streaming it live. So if that's really, if this is popular, I can always do another flip through if you guys want. I'm just in a, I'm packing and I'm in a not very flexible position right now. So I just thought I'd stream it live. But this is kind of nice. I think that's packing tape on there and Mod Podge to make it shiny. I feel terrible that I can't remember the name of this artist off the top of my head, but I dearly love this painting. It's a great painting. Maybe if I can track them down, I can put them in the description. I always love to give credit where I can, but I did not paint that. I will say that. So that is Cream Colored Blue. I think a few people tuned in. Thanks a lot for tuning in. New videos every weekday. You can go to my website at shethewriter.com. Follow me on Twitter or Instagram at shethewriter. And, share it with your friends so they know how cool you are. So that's all. Thanks a lot. Catch you later. It's all connected, my friends. Ooh, how do I even stop this? There we go.